Hello again. I've done quite a bit with wildlife, but this week was really a first for me. I'm in central western Brazil and I went big game hunting, specifically after buffalo, which are introduced in Brazil. I thought I would do a video on the things that I learned about big game hunting. Why? Because what I found in talking to the hunters of the past few days that I've met, they really are among the world's best wildlife conservationists. Why? Because of the knowledge that they have and the field skills. So I wanted to share some rules or guidelines. Not that I particularly like rules, but treat these, if you like, as guidelines, tips, hacks on big game hunting, an introduction to that. So here we go. Rule 1. Know your species. So before you go on the hunt, you need to read up as much as you can on the animal that you're going to go after. In this case, wild buffalo, Cape buffalo and species of buffalo from India and Southeast Asia. Incidentally, that is something that conservationists working on in situ or ex situ conservation projects need to do as well. They need to know their species. Rule 2. Know your weapon, especially know your gun's sights. I wouldn't say this is a mistake I made this week, because I did go out beforehand and practice with the weapon I was to use, but I had fewer than 10 shots in practicing, and that's nowhere near enough. If it had been 300 shots in practicing, I'd have probably started to become competent. With 3,000 shots, oh yes, but 3 or 10, it's not enough. Be competent, know the sights of your gun. Rule 3. Know about shot placement. And as you've probably noticed, these rules are not in any particular order. I may repeat rule 3, meaning it to be rule 4, but you get the idea. Rule 4. What your guide says goes. Meaning, listen to his instructions, follow his instructions to the letter. Why? You'll get a better experience, and it could save your life. There's very little or no room for arrogance on a big game hunt. Rule 5. Use factor 50 sun cream. Oh, and insect repellent. Rule 6. Another fairly obvious one after using sun cream and insect repellent. Even if you're hunting grizzlies in Alaska, you'll need sun cream and insect repellent. But yeah, next rule, wear camouflage. Next rule, stay close to your guide, very close, because while you're both in the middle of a stalk, trying to be as silent as possible, he may need to communicate something vital to you. And you can only do that if you're really right up behind him. Next rule, be aware of wind direction. You don't want the quarry to be smelling you. And what I learned was, in a woodland or forested environment, trees can play havoc with wind direction, and they can really allow the quarry to detect you 100 yards away. Next rule, learn to be quiet for an hour or more. I must admit, I didn't think this was such a serious problem, because I like to think I'm pretty good in the field looking for wildlife. I like to think being quiet is second nature to me. But my guide, and incidentally a close friend, said, well, you were really good today, and one of the reasons was because you were quiet in the field for hours on end. So okay, so that's why this piece of advice is included in this video. Next one is a general rule of life, really. Live in the moment. Big game hunting allows you to do that. While you're stalking, you're moving slowly, you're moving silently, you can pay attention to what your senses are telling you. You really can be present. It's quite therapeutic like that. Rule 11, which is what I learned after the fact. Check yourself for ticks. And 12. Never say no to an opportunity. It might become a peak experience, which is what big game hunting was for me this week. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye for now, see you next week.